Good morning, good afternoon. I hope you're safe and well wherever you're watching from. My name's Douglas MacKinnon, and I'm Senior Director of Project and Production Management for IT at Charles River Labs. Today, I'd like to take you through our story of how we've been able to deliver value from critical chain project management. And really, the headline of the story is how we've been able to deliver value from, I would say, an imperfect implementation, fighting strong forces of inertia, accepting a reality, but by really leveraging our understanding of our project portfolio as a system. Charles River Labs is a leading contract research organization. So we have an integrated early stage portfolio that spans everything from targeted discovery through to non-clinical development. And we partner with our customers to deliver safe and effective medicines to patients as quickly as we can. To give you an idea of our involvement in the drug discovery market, we were involved in 85% of drugs that the FDA approved in 2019. We're a company of about 17,000 employees, about 2.6 billion, and we are in around 90 countries globally. And a big part of the growth of the company, because we have been growing rapidly, is where our story of critical chain begins in IT. So one of the drivers of us finding critical chain is the fact that we've been growing so significantly and so rapidly. We've doubled in size since 2015. And with that doubling in size, the needs of IT have grown exponentially. However, within IT, at the time that we were discovering critical chain, we had not the most effective project delivery function. So we had high work in process, we had a lot of multitasking, we had a huge demand, and project delivery was something that was key for us to get right to be able to build for the future of CRL, but we were not in good shape. We had employee engagement issues, customer satisfaction issues, and we were not delivering projects reliably. Part of the challenge with that is, if we look conceptually at why that was happening, we were excellent at starting projects, just not so good at finishing them. So we had limited control in terms of prioritizing based on value up front. We didn't have controls in terms of making sure we had everything we needed for the projects before we started them. And then by starting so many projects at the same time or concurrently, we run into issues of high work in process, multitasking, key resources being burned out, and all of the usual cliches within that type of project portfolio where projects either expanded in scope, were never ending, their budgets ballooned out of recognition, or maybe scope was cut to get them across the finish line. And beyond those items that I mentioned, there was also just the noise around project management, the additional meetings and investigations into why things were going wrong, and the misconception that through control in areas like more detail, more data, more detailed project plans, that we were really going to solve the problem, and that really just led us further astray. The other aspect that I mentioned was about dealing with our current reality, and this is true as we embarked on critical chain, and it has remained the case that we within IT and within the project delivery function that we the system that we have accountability for, we don't own all of the aspects that are required to deliver a reliable project. So we are reliant on other IT internal delivery resources. We're very reliant on our businesses and the collaboration with our business that we're delivering technology to and to support. And in a lot of cases, we're dependent on external vendors and customer resources that we're working with. So, in terms of the conditions for a complete and comprehensive implementation of critical chain, we had to really accept that this was the reality, that the direct influence was really only in a portion of what we would need to be able to be completely successful and being reliable, or so we thought. The other aspect that was difficult for us to control was just the general demand upstream. So we are a portfolio business. We have many different parts of our business that have different agendas and different priorities, and so it was difficult for us to stem the demand, and maybe in a more traditional or perfect CCPM implementation, you might like to freeze some projects and delay some things, but we didn't quite have all of the influence and luxury to be able to do that we would have liked. Along with the kind of reality of the environment, there's just the reality of, which I think is inherent in any change, and also the balancing act or the conflict between trying to drive order and structure in what we did, at the same time with things slipping back to away from that structure and the approach that we're trying to implement, and the sort of entropy to potential chaos, but also just normal behaviors, and as I mentioned, that inertia that people had, the obsession with things like traditional scheduling and due dates for milestones within projects. So this is something that we balanced throughout our implementation. I would say the kind of main lesson that I've taken from all of this is that to make sure that you fully understand the principles and make decisions and take your direction based on those first principles of flow and the principles of critical chain project management. So in terms of how we implemented critical chain project management, so at the time, the challenges that I mentioned, we were working with some small consultancy. Jeff Schrader and Bob Hunter had recommended that we look at critical chain project management. And given the demands that we had within the IT organization, we were intrigued by what it could offer us. So we embarked on, I would describe it as an empirical approach to implementing project management. So we really didn't spend a lot of time investigating systems and reference customers and others that have done it. We accepted the concepts and we decided to try and implement it and learn as we go. So one of the first things we did, which I think is essential, is to start with the mindset and the training and trying to make sure that as many people as possible who are touching the project process understood the principles of flow. And to do that, we used a number of simulations. So we used some paper setting exercises and card games to simulate multitasking or bad multitasking and high levels of WIP and their impact on quality and flow. We also did some formal training with project managers on critical chain, and we gave some reading materials.